Now we will talk about school education participants. So we talked about school education participants is mainly children, students are teachers. So in school, we call them students or learners, right? And then teachers. So school, we made schools for children, their formal education. However, so we don't have children, we don't need schools. And we have children, students. However, if we don't have teachers, and then we cannot accept students. So teachers and students are very interrelated, correlated relationships they have. And then children are minors and dependent. So we have parents behind them, right? So we have 20 children, we have 20 parents behind them. Actually, if they have daddy and mom or two parents, and then it could be 40 parents and 30 parents. However, we have 20 home parenting, nurturing behind. So these three are school participants. I just removed the principal or school, other staff members, because classroom is mainly the center of education. So all education, all long hierarchies stay for this classroom, and then teacher and students, multiple students, and then their parents a little bit distanced, but still parents, part of them. So these, three members we have, so these three members are very important. So I see these three members, their children's education quality, and then especially their classroom behaviors, disruptive behaviors, challenging behavioral communication. We have to include the teacher and parents, home nurturers. So these are the students, always students, they do not well in school and school education. Pretty much they involve in behaviors. So we say every single child behavior is a part of their communication. So part of a form of communication. So I labeled it challenging behavioral communication. Because human behavior, so we all see it's a communication, even though child just like tapping pencils, still it's a communication. What does it say? They tap the pencil, that means I'm bored. So I need some fun. That's what they're saying, right? And then, okay, that's a function. Yes, feeling bored is a reason. However, it's not the function. We have to find why child get bored. It is teaching instructional time and teacher is busy with the teaching. However, child tap the pencils and just disrupt the whole class and really annoying teachers and other peers. So child has some reasons why child cannot follow these instructions. That's antecedent, right? That's the function. So that is how we're gonna work on, step by step. So this teacher and parents, I see them in the beginning in my chapter 1 as a participant, the school participants. And then we move these adult and teachers both environmental factors for the children's school education. Because the education is a child gotta do it, right? Children have those education. However, teacher does not teach well, or teacher is weak, teaching efficacy and something else. And then child cannot learn enough fully, and then involve in challenging behaviors. And then parents in behind the children at home nurture does not do well, and then it really part of antecedent as well. So I see these two adults. I'm going to talk about this one. So it's as a school participant, we have to go through just one by one whole throughout my book. I just talk about this. So number one, why children shows children are basically, we gotta, as an adult and teacher, even parents, we have to understand what is the basic natural children's characteristics. So children we are all human animals, right? So we have animals characteristics. We are the only ones that have a long legs. So that means we walk around, run around. We are movers. We are not sitters, we are movers, so we can move around. However, long school hours require children staying in their seats for a long time, especially in the United States. Without in elementary school, we don't have official break, block the schedules. So all those schedules and times are all up to individual teachers, how they give this break. And then secondary class schools, so they have only 5 minutes transition times. So we don't have an official break between subject sessions, class. So that could be part of problems, because as a human animals, and we are supposed to be, we are movers, and we are not supposed to sit down that long time. So that is for 7 hours staying in schools. It could be a very big challenge for these developmental age children. So we start schooling at age 5 to 18. Those 12 years, children are staying in a school building, and especially elementary students, only 20 minutes they can go out for recess. And then rest of the times all day staying inside the building, school building. And then secondary students just, they don't have a recess time. Only they have a transition time every, it's based on the school block schedule, 5 minutes, 50 minutes block schedule, or 90 minutes block schedule. Before, most of the schools had 90 minutes, but it seems like they are moving to the, shorter period, so 60 minutes and 50 minutes, something like that. Still, we don't have an official break. A student can put out their energy so they can breathe, and then they can just, after 5 minutes and 10 minutes break, they could calm down and they can focus. So we don't have those luxury for children. So basically, children are social creatures. We are all social animals, right? So children are more that levels because they don't understand about the world yet, their life yet. So, social rules yet. So pretty much their social creatures means it's a little bit different from movers concept. Social creatures means they always seeking somebody's attention and somebody's affection, somebody's approval, somebody's acceptance, recognition, right? So when they have those, they feel safe. That's a social emotional foundation. So affection means that they always want to be loved, seek always love. That means it's approval, right? And then attention. That's all those feelings. So they always seek that because acceptance is a part of a sense of belongings, right? When I'm accepted, yes, I feel like I'm part of this, community's member, and then always want to be complimented, praised, and recognized and loved. So that's a basic students' social creatures. So most of issues probably started there because they're social creatures. So that means if they don't feel those belongings, recognitions, and recognized and affected and attentive, those feelings, and then they pretty much feel lonely. And they believe they are just, stay there alone, no belongings. And then they started bothering other people. So that is not, positive way. However, they just keep bothering and annoying adults and other people. So that means I'm here. They just want to make sure their existence in the group, right? And then next one is just seek out always fun. especially when bored. And always, when they try to seek out and everybody's very quiet, they are the only one alone, just, they cannot work and cannot follow class instructions and worksheets the teacher gave, but they don't know what that is and cannot work on it. And then they started bothering others, but just their peers said, shh, be quiet and just, not really like get with them. And then they started amuse by themselves. So amuse themselves, seek funds, and then that means they could be out of their seats and walk around the classroom and touch, peers, or just touch classroom stuff. And it is really annoying teachers because teachers are busy with the teaching. And then, they see a few students and several students like that. So if a teacher does not have a center management skills, and then they will have more students like off the limit, and they are good teachers, and then they understand that, and then they proactively, include them, and if they understand those children. So that's one characteristic. So always these social creators means basic social emotional, that is always children seeking social emotional foundation. So they always seek a social emotional security and safety. If they don't get that, and then they feel very vulnerable, and they just rely on others for survival. That is a basic feeling. So that's why juvenile delinquency and those kind of case happen. So because in the school community and family community, they are not accepted, they don't get this or social emotional security, and then they just choose to go to the wrong social group. So easily they don't get those, and then they feel very uneasy and try to attempt to obtain those attentions and affections from other people, and very upset, and then very discouraged when feeling ignored and neglected from other people. In the home, it's the same. If a parent is just kind of, it's not discriminating, but always just a parent and children, we have more children, we have a same code and chemistry, math, and then other child is not. So it's not discrimination matter. It's just like a chemistry and code matter. However, still, child, if mom and, second child is very close, and then first child feel lonely there. So those kind of feeling, we gotta be very careful. And then once they don't have this, social emotional security at home or in schools, and then they do not trust the adults. So I always say social, emotional, trusting relationship. That is a number one, behavior shaping plan, behavior shaping. So regardless of student management and then behavior shaping, regardless, we must have a child and I, as a teacher or as a parent, so we have to establish those trusting relationship. Or students, especially at home, they don't feel safe at home, not secure, and then parents are very inconsistent, regardless, just yes, violent, aggressive, and those are just, of course. However, if even though their children are parents are very nice and gentle, still parents are not consistent, and then children don't trust their parents, and once they have those insecure feelings, and then they come to school, and then they show those attitude toward their teachers because they don't know their teachers yet. So in the beginning, their attitude, you could see their attitude, and then without any reasons, and child are very grumpy and not nice, and even their peers, and you could see that. Don't just say that's a really child. Yes, it is from home environment. However, those children are very lonely at home, It does not matter, their home environment is parents are caring and nurturing. Still, all kinds of reasons that children just feel lonely at home and then, have those kind of insight. It's an unconscious conflict they have, and then they bring it to schools, and then starting with the teacher and child relationships. Teachers always see the 20 children, it's just as a group they see. 30 children, they see as a group. So if a teacher is a very smart one and very socially sensitive one with a cognitive, empathy, and then even though they have a big group, but still teachers' eyes are on individual child. They see it. So individual child characteristics, their personality traits, you just see, and then you have their profiles in you, and you understand the children. It is very important. That is the teachers very sensitive, and then they know, student management and child management, and then they do it. Or most teachers, if they don't have those sense, and then always they say my classroom children, my classroom students, they always mention as a group, not individual child. So they don't know about individual child that much details. Only they know probably the good one, academically outstanding ones, or behaviorally outstanding one. So behavioral outstanding means it's like a negative term, so that you can always just spot it the child, and then they believe they know the child. However, many times it's not they know the child, they know child behaviors well. It's not about the child. If teachers never sit down with the child and talk, and then they never know about the child. So that is one part about the child I want to cover. Okay.